Rita Gopal, a lecturer at the Faculty of English, University of Cambridge, and a staunch critic of neoliberalization agenda in higher education, recently posted this comment on Facebook. Academics are interesting in that they don't mind collusion with institutional powers or writing long essays about Gramsci, ideology, and consent, but are deeply offended if the problem of their own collusion and consent and participation in institutional corruption and relations of dominance and subservience is raised. Why is this? Why are they exempt from the processes that are happy to identify at work an animist of society? What Gopal wrote is a question that I keep asking others and myself. My name is Sanaz Raji. Until recently, I was a PhD candidate at the Institute of Communication Studies, ICS, University of Leeds. I was awarded in September of 2009 a 3-year full tuition fees and maintenance scholarship from the ICS. At the onset, I was extremely happy to be receiving funding to be able to work on my research and excited by the many possibilities presented at the ICS and the University of Leeds. However, my hopes and dreams turned into a never-ending nightmare. After sustained and constant bullying and intimidation, my scholarship was wrongfully revoked by the ICS on the 15th of August 2011, without the ICS following rules and regulations set forth in the University of Leeds Research Student Handbook. This was done only 2 weeks before the start of enrollment for the 2011-2012 academic year, effectively preventing me from being able to continue my PhD research as I had no financial means to afford the steep $13,700 tuition fee, along with supporting myself for another year. For more than 2 years, I have been embroiled in a dispute with the ICS, University of Leeds, that has prevented me from completing my PhD research and graduating with my class this year. A few points about my case are as follows. My supervisor failed 2 consecutive years to provide the 10 minimum supervision meetings as indicated in the Research Student Handbook. I was repeatedly denied on 3 occasions a change of supervisors and was bullied by the postgraduate research tutor to continue with an unworkable supervisory arrangement. This violates the rules and procedures set again in the Research Student Handbook. I was not provided sick leave from the ICS when I suffered a broken right ankle. The ICS failed to meet the required pastoral role in this matter. I was racially discriminated at a supervisory meeting on the 23rd of March 2011 when my co-supervisor asked if English was my first language. I was perplexed why I was asked such a question, given that English is my native language. I am speaking it right now, so. Likewise, this co-supervisor had never taken an issue with my writing style before this date, or when I contributed a chapter to her co-edited book. None of my other PhD colleagues who came from South America, North America, Europe, or Asia were asked about their English language capabilities. This ridiculous question was brought up in order to undermine my confidence and make me feel incompetent because I am a person of color. The ICS research scholarship was withdrawn without the ICS abiding by the rules and the procedures set forth in the Research Student Handbook. In fact, my supervisory meeting notes from 2009 to 2010 and yet again from 2010 to 2011 do not indicate any issues with my progress. And then to add insult to injury, the committee that oversaw my appeal against the ICS conducted a kangaroo court by not permitting a hearing between myself and the ICS. This violates my human rights and the law of the land. I'm entitled to a hearing in order to A, present my evidence, and B, hear with the evidence that the contraparty, i.e. the ICS, had presented to the appeals committee, to be able to defend myself against any accusations. After much delay, on the 16th of April 2013, I received a final decision from the university, which was negative and did not address the finer points of my argument. After the decision was made, I sent an email to the Vice Chancellor, Michael Arthur, requesting an audience with him to go over the finer issues of my case. On the 14th of May, I received a negative and dismissive response from Arthur, stating, quote, "I'm afraid I cannot agree to meet with you. Even if I wanted to, I cannot set aside the proper process that have been followed for consideration of appeals by students. I myself have no role in this process. Currently, the Office of Independent Adjudicator is now deciding my case. Despite the ample evidence that I provided, the University of Leeds does not wish to remedy the situation at hand, but rather exhausts me out to such a manner that I'm forced to leave academia altogether and give up my research and the teaching that I love doing. However, despite the incredible hardships that I have sustained for over 2 years, which include living in enforced poverty, suffering from depression and anxiety, constantly worried about eviction from the student halls that I'm squatting in, and only 5 months away from when my visa expires, the University of Leeds must realize by now they're dealing with a strong, resilient, and tough character. I will not back down until I've been completely vindicated of the outright lies that the ICS has paraded around that has contributed to the ruining of my academic and professional reputation. People of color at the University of Leeds experience routinely institutional racism, bullying, and discrimination. Professor Ian Law at the Department of Sociology and Social Policy used the University of Leeds as a case study from 2007 to 2010 to understand institutional racism, and he found the following. 1, that the University of Leeds is a predominantly white place, and that's not without saying. 87% of students and 89% of staff are white. Significant levels of everyday racism against Black, minority, ethnic, and international students. Black, minority, ethnic students felt higher exclusion, less satisfied with teaching and academic support. And then there was other parts that he found as well, like different admissions and attainment for Black, minority, ethnic students, little reporting and low confidence about the complaints procedures on campus, and poor departmental unit planning, ambivalence to change, and uneven good practice. And I know that for fact because at the ICS it was very arbitrary when and where the rules would be followed.